is a Bramble Jam podcast. Yeah!
Oh, yeah.
We're back in the studio.
Audio a little bit better this week?
A little bit better. A little bit better.
Yeah.
And it would have to be for Hounded.
Yeah,
There's no other way to do Hounded than with the best of the best.
Great audio for Luck of the Irish.
No.
It's one of those that people don't remember. It doesn't really matter. But
Not a big
Hounded.
deal. Hounded.
Oh,
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
this is the big show.
Very excited to dive into this movie. It might be a rough time.
Oh, my God, Bran.
I thought of that joke earlier today too.
Yeah, thanks.
But you didn't say it. That's the difference.
It was gonna be in like my overtime.
You thought that was going to make it to there? You thought Bran wasn't going to say rough before then?
No, I wasn't thinking about Bran at all when I was thinking about my.
Man, okay. Bran was going to out of the gate. He was going to steal that one.
Yeah,
There's no way
listen,
around
I
it.
had to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
My tail was wagging. I had to get.
God almighty.
Wow. It's great to be back. We had a lot of fun at Bramblefest. We apologize that
Probably
audio
couldn't hear it, but
wasn't
yeah.
fantastic. No, you probably. Oh, the only thing you heard was us having a good time. I don't know if
Any
you
of our
had
reviews came through.
Yeah. Dano, we're up to 115.
And not only that, but people were kind because there's not been any negative response from the audio of that episode.
It looks like we now have a 1-star, a 2-star, and a 4-star.
Which we've had that for a long time.
Okay, we've had it for a long time. Okay.
So a lot of 5 stars coming in, including Meg Cole 07,
Yeah.
who says obsessed with this podcast.
Oh.
This podcast is so nostalgic and has made me laugh out loud a few times. A few times, gang.
I'm
a big
obsessed
deal.
with Meg.
Also love that I can listen while I take care of my baby. No bad language. Well, I'm hoping they might do some of the old decoms like the Paper Brigade and Wish Upon a Star eventually. Meg, we don't need you to give us any more.
We hear you, Meg, and we're here. We're here
We're
for
working
you.
towards it. We're
So-
working on it.
So Meg,
I-
thank you.
I do want to give a shout out to One Bluey.
One Bluey, yeah, I was getting there.
Subject
Yeah.
is this about?
Question mark.
And then the rest of the review is, what is this about? 5 stars.
5 stars.
So I appreciate that. And what this is about
Yeah.
is Erin and I love DComs. Dan
Never
has
seen
never
'em.
seen them, and we're walking through all the DComs.
And his life has
and
changed
it's
for the
been a lot-
better.
it's been a lot of
I
fun.
think.
Mostly, of course, like that's what this is about. But here's a little review challenge for you.
Okay.
You've not left us a rating and review. We know how many people listen. We know how many reviews there are. There's plenty of people that listen that are not leaving us ratings and reviews.
Hear that,
Leave
Tanner?
us a 5-star, Tanner, and all of you out there, and try to make it more confusing than One Bluey's review. Just try your best, because his review is this about? What is this about? That is
Or her.
One Bluey's review.
One Bluey.
Their review is this about? What is this about?
Bluey the dog is a girl. So
That's true.
Leads
That's
me
true.
to believe that One Bluey. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to make any assumptions here.
No.
But yes, please leave a confusing review, or just leave a review letting us know what you think it is about.
Please do. Yeah.
Don't
If you
know
could
what
answer
it
One
is.
Bluey's question, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I assume
I
that
would
One
love
Bluey.
to read listeners' reviews of what they think is happening here.
I listen. I thought that One Bluey was asking about the show, but maybe One Bluey is just asking about life. What is it about?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're all trying to figure that out, aren't we?
And One Bluey asked it twice.
I will
this about?
say-
What is this about?
I think that
It's like Bluey started to figure it out, and then they were like, "No,
Is
it's
this
too big.
about?
No.
What is this about?
I do think that all of this ultimately is about the Delish segment.
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Went to Segway school
What
over
a
the break.
segue.
Over break, I went over to Segway school, and I passed.
How long was was it just like a day or two?
It was 2 days.
So 2-day
3
Segway
nights.
school. 3 nights.
Yeah. And then you have a graduation ceremony. That lasts 5 days.
Yeah.
There's a lot
They
of
don't know how to
people.
get out of it.
You know, for
You're
a
just
second
stuck.
there, I was gonna compliment you on being a professional podcaster with your rough joke and that good segue, and then you went into a 5-day graduation bit, and I didn't.
A bit.
You know,
There's a
you
lot
got
of
a bunch
people.
of people
Taking it back.
who are trying to segue out of graduation and they just couldn't. They can't get. They just are trying. Anyway.
Here's your diploma. Speaking of diplomacy, you later.
There's so much there. There's so much there.
We're not gonna. It's not this show. It's not what it's about.
No.
What it is about is the
The
Delish
Delish
segment.
segment, yeah.
Erin, each week you bring a snack or a beverage or whatever you really want to that you would define as delicious.
Yeah, whatever I want to seems to be the best defining.
But it
characteristic.
always
Always.
very clearly falls in line with the movie.
Connects to the movie. Yes.
My guess when you brought this in is we're doing a movie about a dog. I thought this was like dog pee juice or something like that. But we'll find out.
Hooch?
We'll find out what this yellow beverage is
With
at 9:15 in the
dirt
morning.
in the top of it.
It's a sprinkling of nutmeg.
Okay.
How dare you?
Okay.
What are you, nuts?
Black nutmeg.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
Just
like
what they
nutmeg.
had. It's just what they had.
Like pepper.
Put it together.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, your segment. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we had a lot of fun
We do have a lot of fun.
watching this movie.
Yeah.
Dan and I did not need any extra beverage help while watching
No.
this movie. But as I was thinking about my experience of this movie and what I could bring for a delicious segment, I just kept thinking about this cocktail called the Painkiller.
Nice. Nice.
And that is what I brought
There.
to get us through this movie and to get us through this review.
And let's not jump ahead to our overtime or making the list here, but you've made the painkiller for this movie.
What is the painkiller? If someone wants to painkiller at home,
It is grain alcohol with dirt on top.
It is some coconut rum, dark rum, a little bit of orange juice, and a little bit of pineapple
I
juice.
don't want it.
All drinkers.
there you go.
Cheers.
Wow.
There you have it. Killing pain.
We'll see. We're all giving Erin our painkiller, and we'll see how it goes.
How it goes. Here
We'll
at
see
9
how it
a.m.
goes.
on a Wednesday morning.
Hey, between this and lunchtime, you could do whatever you want to.
That's right.
So feel free. Feel free to kill pain.
It's true.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we are going
Great
to
segue.
dive into Hounded. We're going to hound
Those classes
you
are paying off.
with Hounded.
It's going to be a long comm chat segment. A lot happens here.
Ticum Descendants.
And we remember all of it.
We do. Yeah. Locked in.
Brian took notes.
Right, yeah, he does. That's what he's here for.
Well, howdy-ho, everybody. We're talking about Hounded today.
You working on some stuff over
Hounded.
there?
Yeah, I auditioned for South Park.
Yeah.
Didn't get it.
Didn't get it. Interesting.
Howdy-ho. We're talking about
And your
Hounded.
backup plan was podcasting? Is that how we got here?
No, my
And
backup
you fit
plan
in
was
Segway school
podcasting.
somehow in there, so that was impressive.
Well, that was to help with podcasting.
Well, we went on vacation and
We did.
Brandon had some
That's
time
true.
off. So.
Yeah. He had to do something.
Could you go on vacation? No. Segway school.
No,
Segway school. And you all ride on Segways. It's crazy.
a different school. That's how you get from one Segway school to the other.
That's true.
There's
Segway.
so many levels to that joke, and people who appreciate it, you're my people.
You segue right on over.
Leave us
right.
a review if you got that joke.
That's right.
That's right. Hounded is what we're talking about today. It premiered on the Disney Channel on April 13th, 2001. What were you doing that day, Dan? You keep a journal?
I was a month, about 5 weeks from graduation. I was going to graduate high school May 25th of 2001. So I was probably playing tennis or golf at
Nice.
because I played those two sports in my senior year. So probably that. I just started dating my wife.
Okay.
Like maybe a month early, March 3rd,
Hey,
2001.
my wife.
Started
And
dating my
Hounded
wife.
is what brought you guys together?
Yeah, I didn't have the Disney Channel, and my wife didn't have the Disney Channel, so we did not watch any DComs.
So as everyone in your high school was talking about Hounded, you
That's
were
right.
you were brought together by
I
like I don't
distinctly
know what
remember
everyone's talking
being a
about.
senior in high school, a month from graduating high school, and like dude, that week everyone was just like it was nonstop. Like every teacher was like, "I know,
Yeah.
calm down with the Hounded talk."
Yeah, and your wife was the only other person who wasn't in it, and you were like,
right.
"Should we talk?"
Yeah, should we
Because
talk? Yeah, that's what happened. What were you doing? What were you guys doing? You guys, what? You were 11, maybe? Not even 10.
I
and a
was
half?
10.
You were not 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys. What were you doing in elementary school that day?
I was probably learning math.
Yeah.
It was directed by
Good segue.
by Neil Israel is his
Segway's
name.
just getting better
Really
and
paying
better.
off.
Neil
Where can I
Israel.
leave a review for that school?
Is that what it's about?
Yeah, that is what it's about. Neil Israel is the director of this movie, who in the 80s produced some films like Police Academy, Real
Ooh.
Genius, and Bachelor Party.
Oh my
He also
gosh.
directed several shows, including Lizzie McGuire and, weirdly enough, Dog with a Blog. So maybe he really liked working with
Those three
Camille.
movies he produced in the 80s are heavy hitter 80s comedies.
Yeah.
Like they are big time.
Yeah, he was born in 45. So
Oh.
by the time he was doing this, he was an elder statesman
He was in his 50s.
Yeah.
Did you ever see an episode of Dog with a Blog?
No, I did not. He was a
with
dog. A dog with a
The
blog.
dog has a blog.
He's like typing with his
Yes.
paws.
Yes.
Wow. There you have it.
The dog
Learn
with a
something
blog.
new every day.
Dog with a blog. And it is starring Taj Mowry, who you might know as brother of Sister,
Brother of
Craig
Sister, Sister.
Kirkwood, Ed B.
On the
Begley,
mouse over here. Woof, woof.
and one Shia
Ed
LaBeouf.
Begley Jr.?
Yes. And one Shia LaBeouf is in this movie.
Type in his blog.
He's a dog with a blog.
He's a
Yeah.
dog with a blog.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't think you get dog without a dog with a blog
Every day,
without
pretty
Hounded.
much the same, right?
With Hounded.
Today was a great day. Got treats.
I
and
think
loves.
like the family learns a life lesson and then the dog sums it up in his blog at the end.
Like Doogie Howser.
I've seen like an episode.
At least that's more than me. So, you know.
Yeah, sometimes when you're homesick and you just put
You're
Disney
like, oh,
Channel
so a dog
on.
with a blog.
Yeah,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Daytime TV isn't what it used to be, so your choices
It's
are.
not what it used to. It's not Price is Right. And then 4 talk shows afternoon. I mean, like, those are the days, you know?
There's no way he does that show though without Hounded. Hounded walks so that dog with a blog could run. That's what we're trying to say.
We say it every day.
Shall we dive into this movie?
We
Yeah.
can.
The movie kicks off with a flip book.
Hijinks
Did you guys
ensue,
do-
and that is
Erin-
Hounded.
Aaron, did you ever flip book? Did you ever draw and tried to do it?
I really enjoyed a good flip book, but my artistic talent was not what Taj's was. If I was going to make a flip book, they were for sure stick figures.
Yeah. Yeah.
The amount of detail he put on the 100 note cards,
Yeah.
it took him days.
And
Yes.
they're not even attached. It's a weird time to flip book, right?
It is.
Like they're not like I am terrible at drawing anything, but like yeah, on the corner of my notebook I had to have in school, do little stick figures and you flip it because you're bored.
Yeah.
This guy is making a flip book without the flip aspect,
Yeah, you have to hold it for sure.
and he's making full drawings.
yeah.
Full
like-
drawings. It's super detailed. And he does it on the back of his very
He
important
should be getting an
presentation.
animation. Like he could have been an animator of the 2000s easily.
Could have been.
Well, maybe that's why he's trying to get a scholarship to the art school and not go to military academy.
Yep, could
right.
be great segue.
right. We're talking about Jay Martin, of course.
I
Who's
teach classes at
You do.
You wish.
Yeah.
You wish.
You didn't qualify for my courses.
All right, fair enough.
It's graduate level. Graduate level. You got to go across to a different building.
Now that I have done the 5-day graduation, maybe I can take
Yeah.
the course.
send
It's
you a
a
link.
risk-free graduation place.
That's for probably no one. I don't think anybody.
Literally no one. It's for Brandon.
Jay Martin is our main character. He's the one doing the drawing. He goes downstairs. He's talking to his mom. Mom is going out of town and is prepping him on like meals and stuff. And she's like, your brother, who's at military school, he's going to be here soon-ish, but
To
you're going
watch
to
the
have
movie.
some time
Well,
alone.
Taj
so
thinks he's getting the whole week to himself.
yeah.
Mom, I'm 13. I can do this myself.
Yeah, got it.
I'm good to go.
Got this. I'm responsible, and he is responsible. Like for what we see of him, he's a responsible kid. Now, 13-year-old by himself for a weekend, no.
A whole week, just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no go.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, couldn't a neighbor have just like looked in on him?
You would have been. Would your parents have let you stay at the house by yourself at 13? Okay. Yeah. There's no way.
But I mean, if I had an older sibling in school, I don't necessarily know that the sibling would have gotten time off to be like, my mom has to go out of town.
You have a younger brother.
Yeah.
Was there a point when you were old enough where your parents were like, it's just you two in the house and you were in charge of him?
Mhm.
Like what age was that?
High school.
Okay. So when you were like 15, 16?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. Right on. Good. Learn something new. Back to you, Bran.
There was a time where we were close to that age where they had my grandfather come and stay with us, and it just wasn't a good fit for anybody. So the next time, we stayed home alone.
It'll be better if no one's here than if Grandpa's here. It'll just be better for everybody. So Mom is going to miss the big award ceremony tonight. Jay has been working on a presentation for this ceremony because he is up for a big scholarship. He's very excited about this. Cut to his brother Mike. Mike is at the military academy and is following in the direction of military dad. And
Dad taught at military school.
Yeah.
Dad's dead.
And this is all, once again,
Great segue.
yeah, awesome. This is once again one of these things where in DCOM's middle school is just more serious than it is in real life.
Yes.
Like he's applying to some heavy hitter scholarships to see where he goes to high school.
Yeah.
It's like last week, it was like middle school state basketball champions. Like these things don't happen in real life, but here in the DCOM world, it's a big deal. His whole future is on the line here. This is what we're saying.
And I just have questions about that town where the only option for education is some level of private school.
That's right.
Like there was no public, like he was either I get this scholarship to art school or it's
military school.
It's military school.
Those are the options.
Yeah.
I pursue my passion or I got to go to military school.
Because guess what? Public school does offer art classes.
No, not like this.
Not like
yeah,
this.
you
You
saw
wouldn't get
his
it. That's
drawings. You can't bring
No,
that
I
to public
did.
school. You can't do that.
It'd be more artistic than military school.
Yeah, it would be.
But apparently this town doesn't do public
It's
school.
two options: art
Do it.
or military. So Jay gets to school and his bully Ronnie hits him with a soccer ball, Shirani, which he's Shia LaBeouf, by the way, played by Shia LaBeouf, and knocks the flip book / presentation down on the ground, and it's now all out of order. The principal, headmaster, whatever you want to call him, then walks over, picks it up, and somehow Jay gets in trouble for this, and he's like, I'm going to take this, blah, 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 and that's messed up.
Immediately, the presentation falls, Taj immediately starts trying to pick it up, and the principal's just like, hey, hurry up, pick it up.
Get to class.
Oh, because he saw the wolf on the drawing.
Then he comes over because Taj is taking more than a second to pick up his presentation. He sees the wolf, and he's like, is this me? This presentation's mine now.
And we are in the first 5 minutes of this movie. And if you're worried that we're going to be here for 2 hours, don't you worry.
I'll make it. We're just about to cross the 17-minute mark. My guess is we'll come in under an hour. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So
I thought for a second there that you said the 17-minute mark
of the movie, I was like, no way.
I was like,
Oh,
you
no.
There's just no way.
of this here episode,
There's no way he took those notes.
I
And
take my notes by the minute.
there's no way that we are 17 minutes in at
That's
this point.
17 minutes in the movie. So
I was like, there's no way we're 17 minutes in, and there's no way you took that note down.
the headmaster is actually Ronnie's dad. Ronnie is in his office. He sees these note cards and the speech, and he's like, this is great because I don't have a speech. I'm just over here just goofing. So he then takes the note cards, and he goes up and he gives his speech first because I guess it's between Ronnie and Jay who gets this, and it's going to be based off of in-person speech. It's how it's done.
It's a high-level high school scholarship.
Full scholarship.
Given out based upon speech.
One speech.
Yeah, you get it. I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward. I think we've all been
It's how
there.
I got into high school.
It's how me too.
Yeah.
We all had to do that.
We all did. And so
These
Jay,
eighth graders need to know.
Heck of a speech.
It's a great speech. Jay hears this speech, and obviously he is so sad because it's like, that's my speech. So Jay goes to talk to headmaster and is like, hey, this is messed up. And so the headmaster's like, all right, I'll look into it. But what he does is he tells Ronnie, you got to get rid of the evidence as soon as possible. So his dad, not great, and there's definitely some nepotism going on here in regards to this speech situation. Jay overhears this conversation between headmaster and Ronnie, and now he's mad. On his way home, Jay's riding his bike. Ronnie comes by, kicks him. Messed up, unnecessary. And Ronnie, being a dummy, did not get rid of the evidence. He put it in the transparent part of his backpack so that everybody can see it, including Jay. So Jay sees this and is like, you know what? I'm going to go and get my note cards back. That way I can prove, I guess, that
it was my speech.
And trash can at school, perfect place to destroy evidence.
It would have been great.
Perfect.
Rip it in half even.
Yeah, but just put them in there, and then you're going to be like, I didn't put them in. I don't know. What are you talking about? Like, easy. No.
I think the best way to get rid of evidence is to hold on to it.
Yeah. That's the key. That's how you'll
mainly
never get caught.
to put it inside of transparent.
But other people should be able to see it.
Yeah, that's an important part of it all.
Because they would be like, is that Jay's speech? No, he wouldn't be that dumb. It's a different speech.
Gotta be.
So he breaks into Ronnie's room, which is conveniently detached from the house. Ronnie lives in the pool house, which is crazy.
Because when Ronnie gives a party, it is like he has his own house.
That's right, which is awesome. Middle school parties in the pool house. It's nuts. So Jay's going around, he's snooping, and it's at this point that their dog, Camille, discovers Jay. And Jay's like, get out of here, get out of here. Jay's very afraid of this dog.
No dog likes him.
No dog likes him. That's right. That's I forgot about that fact. No dog likes him.
Playing into some real stereotypes all movie long in this movie.
What stereotypes that, Dan?
But that dogs don't like black people.
Yeah.
That's the stereotype they decided that the DCOM would lean into here.
Yeah, they lean into it all movie. Don't worry.
Yep.
And so Jay's basically like, I got to get out of here. And Camille begins to follow Jay. Mm-hmm. And no matter what Jay does, whether it's like try to put Camille back in like the house bushes or whatever, Camille just keeps coming back and keeps following him and even follows him into traffic. Jay sees Camille is now in traffic and goes to save Camille's life, which is very heroic.
I mean, would I have picked up the dog and knocked on the door and been like, here's your dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's very concerned, I guess, that doing that will somehow get him in trouble for snooping.
Yeah.
Well, because he was snooping, and I do want to point out that Camille was in a house behind a closed door, and Taj was in a pool house behind a closed door across the yard, and Camille somehow knew he was in there and opened one door.
There's a lot happening here.
Camille.
Yeah.
But Camille can't. The thing
She's
about
the dean
Camille
of
is
Segway
Camille.
School.
Yeah.
Camille can't talk though, and so like
just
the people would
barking.
have no way to know that he was snooping if he just returned the dog and said, "Hey, found
right.
it."
Well, except for when he was leaving the pool house, the maid saw him.
That's right.
And he's wearing a giant yellow jacket. Now, could he have taken the jacket off and have been like, "Here's your dog. I found it wandering"? Maybe, but he's 13.
Yeah.
And we didn't get there.
Nah.
We got somewhere else. Bran.
So the family returns home. They now realize that the dog is missing. And everybody's very sad about that, except for the headmaster, who's actually allergic to the dog, and so is actually pretty pumped about this.
He's thrilled. He
Yes.
immediately...
And there's medication the dog should be taking.
We find that out because
Well, the dad
Camille...
immediately flushes his allergy meds. He's like, dog's
See ya,
gone? Don't need these
sucker."
anymore.
Which is a bold move.
That's a bold move.
Camille needs anti-anxiety medicine, or else she goes nuts, and
Nuts
she
is putting
does
it kindly.
indeed go nuts. She goes crazy, destroys the house. The dog is continuing to go crazy for about 15 minutes straight.
At minimum.
It
Jay's
felt like an hour.
Yeah.
Jay's brother shows up. He is initially really mad at Jay for the mess, but then Camille shoots out of a cupboard and attacks him.
Like a cannon.
Guys, the amount of times that you see a dog shoot across the screen in this movie is, I think, over a handful.
And dog is being kind here.
Yeah, it's a puppet.
Yeah.
But you can't use real dog. Although I didn't look at the
It's
credits
weird,
at the end for that tagline about no pets being harmed.
Yeah.
But
And I can't remember which one of you said it when we were watching the movie about how this movie is why PETA was formed. And yeah, thinking about all the times that a dog was chucked in some manner across a screen.
at one point, you literally see somebody's hand in the corner of the shot throwing this dog, which is great.
It's fantastic.
So after not being able to get the dog to go back and trying to figure out a way to return the dog, Jay confesses about what happened with the speech, how the dog ended up at the house. And at this point that Mike is like, you know what? I never liked that headmaster anyway. He's a total jerk.
That's why I'm in military school and not at my scholarship school of choice.
Right. And so I am going to help you and also maybe in the process get back at that guy. The only problem is now the dog is for real missing. The dog just kind of disappears. So they need to stall before they can get the dog back. So Mike calls the headmaster, makes him do embarrassing things to quote unquote get the dog.
How
but
is he
really,
not
he just wants to embarrass him.
Bran? How's he not being recognized on the phone?
So you know those voice changer
Yeah.
horn things? He uses that, but he does it by holding the phone up to his ear still, And so the way that it would work is they'd still be able to hear your voice totally
Easily.
fine. But in this movie, it doesn't work that way. It does work perfectly
there is
for
one
them.
scene where he does it correctly and then never again.
Yeah, the first scene that Mike does it correctly, it's like, oh, it's finally somebody's doing it. And then Mike, it had to be
holding the phone down here and speaking into it. And
Dan,
it's like,
you
great.
said it, but it had to be a director note, like, hey, kids that are watching this are going to be confused or whatever.
That's right.
Hold it up
That's
to
right.
your ears.
It's on
so
the
that
director.
It
is.
Neil Israel.
There's no way that they get it right once and get it wrong the rest of the time. The flip would maybe happen in the editing room, but for that to be wrong every time, it's like, hey, this frame has to be, in my opinion, I don't know. I'm not a professional. That's my guess, though.
Yeah. Or like, hey, we just want to make it abundantly clear that you're on the phone. Maybe like kids are dumb. They won't know if you're not holding it up to your ear. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but it is really something. So he's doing things to try to basically embarrass that guy, but also buy time until they can get the dog back. The way that they get the dog back is by tying a bunch of meat to the back of the car inside of a bag and dragging it down the street. It works like gangbusters. A bunch of dogs are attracted to this dragged meat, but also Camila. So Camila finally comes out, and they are able to get her back. So now, after being stood up multiple times, being made a fool multiple times, having to sing Itsy Bitsy Spider multiple times, the headmaster's now very mad. It is now time to get the authorities involved. Jay and Mike come up with a plan to basically frame Ronnie for the dog's disappearance by bringing the dog and sneaking back in, dropping it into Ronnie's pool, and then calling the phone.
Ronnie's pool house.
Ronnie's pool house.
Yes.
We're not dropping the dog.
Yeah, we're not dropping the dog in the pool. We're not doing that. And so they do that by Mike going up, knocking on the pool house door, getting Ronnie to come out. He poses like a BMX magazine guy or something.
Yeah,
and
I think if there's one thing we're supposed to know about Ronnie in this movie, besides he's a cheater, it's that he loves BMX.
Which I didn't know until that point.
But then later on, like the dad makes a comment about it, and it's apparently
BMXer.
like Ronnie's personality.
Ronnie loves BMX.
We knew that.
Yeah, big Ronnie BMX.
We were all in on this plan.
So as he's distracting Ronnie on the outside, Jay sneaks in through the back window, drops the dog off, then uses Ronnie's phone, which I guess is a separate line, to call the main house. And
that they don't recognize.
Yes. And
separate line they don't recognize.
Yes. And
I didn't even think about that. That number wouldn't pop up.
2001,
They'd be like, Ronnie's
yeah.
number?
Is that Ronnie's house?
No, they
Is that
used the
Pool House?
police's tracing system to trace the phone to Ronnie's pool house.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents go in, they see Ronnie is there with the dog, and now the parents are very mad at Ronnie, and Ronnie is going to get the blame. And if you think that, you know, this plan's not going to work perfectly, at some point Jay is going to get found out or something. No.
Yeah,
Everything actually works 100% correctly, and they investigate it further. The truth comes out about Ronnie cheating, and the dad covering up for him. Mm-hmm. The scholarship competition is now reopened. Jay is able to win that. Ronnie is sent to military school and is going to be not, what is it when the guy, whatever, Jay's brother is like in charge of him, is like his commanding officer or whatever. And Camille, who towards the end actually bonded with Jay, Camille is having puppies, and Jay is going to get one of those puppies.
Oh,
So
wow.
special.
Full circle.
Isn't that just wonderful? And didn't I tell you guys, that was it.
That was it.
That was a quick one.
Hounded, everybody.
Hounded. We'll be right back. We'll break this movie down more on the other side of this break here on
Decondescendence.
Descendants. Did we do that for the first break?
No, you guys were talking.
Yeah.
We were
Okay.
Welcome back. It wasn't shade. I wasn't like shading you for talking. I was just...
Yeah, it sounded like shit.
You'll listen back. You'll hear it. You'll know.
Yeah,
I thought we were doing the outro banter. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you let it run a little bit and we do an outro banter.
Yeah.
That's where we were.
Our banter is top notch.
We
Welcome
talked
back
about
to
this beforehand.
Decom
Descendants. We're talking Hounded today.
I mean, it's August now. It's our month.
It's our month.
That's right. It's our time
Not
to
your
shine.
month.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
your month.
Yeah.
It took
our
me a
month.
second to realize
Correct,
why it's our month.
Yeah.
It's not my month.
Correct us again. See what happens.
What's going to happen? Am I not going to be invited to your birthday?
You get it.
Man, this is serious.
It's an exclusive deal.
That's right.
Our joint birthday.
So that we have every year.
Let's talk about Hounded. Let's talk about how
Erin
it
and Dan's
aged
birthday bash.
over time. I do have some Letterboxd reviews for you.
Love
to hear
them.
Letterboxd viewers that have watched this movie. Shane says this dog had a hunger for human flesh and should probably be put down.
Yeah.
Fair. Clara, 2 stars. This is why I'm more
Her
of a cat
name's Clara
person.
2 stars? Or
No,
that's,
Clara.
Okay, I got it.
It's actually Clara, frog emoji, and a rat emoji.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
2 stars from Clara that says this is why I'm more of a cat person. Also
Nice,
fair.
yeah.
Ed Vark says half a star. They played literally every single bite sound effect in this movie, plus a solid boing sound when the dog was supposed to jump like a kangaroo. Adam says Sarah Paxton rolled up in a wheelchair, and I knew it was only downhill from there. Jacob says 1 star. Not one editor cared while making this movie. They shot a prop dog out of an air cannon twice.
Yes.
And Kev says 1.5 stars. Shia LaWolf. This movie was
boy.
rough. Shout out to Kev. How did we think this movie aged over time? Erin, had you seen this movie?
No, I had not. This was
I had
the first
not
time.
either.
So this is, none of us have an overtime
It's
segment.
a fresh.
Yeah, none of us have an overtime. I guess we'll
Let's,
just do
yeah,
it.
let's, yeah,
like
just
a
tell
hot take.
a hot take.
What'd you think about this movie?
This movie was a lot. It's complicated because I think the segment in the middle where the dog is absolutely destroying Jay and his brother and the entire house is really painful to sit through.
Literally drove us to drink.
Like, we had a beer or 2 while watching this movie.
Literally, we were like, well, we've got to do something.
Like, it goes on far too long. And I think it's just a mess. And I was really like, should we stop watching this movie? And it's the first time I've ever thought that in a decom. Even through like Can of Worms and Don't Look Under the Bed, there was something I was hoping to get out of it. But even at that point where the dog is destroying the house, we still didn't have a plot. So I was like, I don't know what I'm rooting for here. And outside of that, I mean, there is this nice brother relationship where they never really got along and they learn to work together and see, they become friends, I guess. But the hijinks, the plan at the end to frame Ronnie is all great. I just feel like we didn't know how to get there. And then they filmed an entire movie and still didn't know how to get there. So the movie has great pieces, but as a whole, it didn't work for me.
What? Unbelievable. Bran?
Hounded is an excellent short film.
Yeah.
As a full-length movie, it is not great. Mainly because, as mentioned, there is a very, very long part of this movie, which is just how many times can we shoot this dog across the room? And
In how many different ways?
Yeah.
And it's like, they're individually like funny moments, but it just wears on you. And by the end of it, you're like, I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was the goal, like, hey, let's make people feel as exhausted as Jay is in this moment, then I guess mission accomplished.
Easy for you to say. Mission accomplice?
But
You're
over
the accomplice to the mission?
yes, I am. I'm a
Unbelievable.
mission accomplice. Okay, it's a new movies franchise I'm starting. It's about the. Never mind.
I would watch.
Yeah. So this movie is not great for that reason. There are a lot of really solid performances. It was great to see Shia LaBeouf as I remember him, because this is crazily enough in the middle of Even Stevens.
Yeah.
Wow.
On
He
Disney
showed up
Channel.
to do this in the
And
middle
I don't
of
know
Even Stevens.
why he is not the lead in this. I don't like. Maybe
they
Even
made it
Stevens
beforehand?
Maybe it did. Maybe Even Stevens hadn't taken off
I'd
yet.
be curious. I mean, I haven't seen Even Stevens in a very long time, but was Lewis always the star, or was it more about Ren?
I think Lewis was always a star.
Okay.
Oh, we have to go back and look. I think
I've
it's
never-
about them, like
Never
as
seen a
siblings.
single second of that
So I think
show.
at the beginning, because she like she was Kim Possible and she had other DComs. I don't know, maybe this was his first chance to be like, could you be the lead of a...
Yeah. Well, it's not the last we'll see of one Shia LaBeouf while doing the show.
We'll see him at least 2 more times.
This movie, in summary, is a better idea and a better short film than it is a Full Boy. Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate because I think we had something that could have worked here. And at the end of the day, I was just tired by the end. Dano?
Yeah, I blame, weirdly enough, kind of Home Alone for this movie. There's a thing that happens when trends start in cinema and they end up starting with really good intentions and then they devolve into nonsense. And
by the time they make it to the Disney Channel.
That's right. So there was a twist ending, like The Sixth Sense in 98-ish started this weird thing, not weird, this tradition or fad in cinema where movies just had twist endings and they were terrible movies, but they were being made by the dozen just because of twist endings. And it got to the point where you were watching movies and that it didn't make any sense, but you knew there was a big twist coming. And that was the thing. After Home Alone, there was a rash of kids hijinks, where the house gets destroyed movies. And there was a rash, weirdly enough, not Home Alone related, of movies where animals are the star of the movie. Mm-hmm. And this is 10 years removed from that, the bottom of the barrel reduction sauce of what if we just make
all of it,
Animal and Home Alone hijinks, the movie. And that's unfortunate because I do think when my kids were 5 or 6 years old, they probably would have laughed for 20 or 30 straight minutes in this movie. There are hijinks abound. It is not a movie that holds up under any scrutiny. Mm-hmm. Scrutiny is Mission Accomplice's.
Yeah.
But that's the person on the computer. It doesn't hold up under any scrutiny at all. There is virtually no plot that makes any sense in this movie. You're here for the dog hijinks. Everyone involved across the board is better than this movie from an acting standpoint. That is the thing, is we've seen some bad movies and there's some bad performances, bad kid performances, bad adult performances. This is a bad movie with uniformly amazing performances. Ed Begley Jr., Shia LaBeouf, Taj Mowry. These guys are all punching way below their class here. They are so much more talented than this movie gives them credit for. And so it's weird. It's a weird movie to rank because it's not good. Yep. It was insufferable in moments. But the cast is so much better than the movie is. So I was in a tough spot. Mm-hmm. That's what I'll say.
Well, let's talk about that tough spot. We have to make our list. We got to put it somewhere.
We do.
Erin, have you given it thought? Do you know where this movie is going to land for you?
It has landed somewhere for me.
Good.
But like Dan said, it's hard to rank it because there are moments, like the ending of the movie I liked where the plan all comes together and, justice is served. But there are just parts of that movie that are so hard to get through. But this movie is going to premiere on my list at 21.
21.
Wow.
Okay. So 7 from the bottom. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. 21.
Has your top 10 changed at all from last week?
No, but you want me to run
Yeah, you got to read it. It's the podcast.
Okay.
We gotta.
At number 10, we have Brink. 9, The Other Me. 8, Quince. 7, Xenon. 6, Halloween Town. 5, Luck of the Irish. 4, Smart House. 3, Miracle on Lane 2. 2, Johnny Tsunami. And 1, Motocrossed.
Can you also tell me where, this movie, Hounded, is in between what 2 movies on your list?
Xenon the Sequel and Stepsister from Planet Weird.
Wow. Okay. Got it.
This movie is premiering at 24 on my list.
Wowzers.
Yeah. Which is in between Rip Girls and Horse Sense.
Yeah, that checks.
Rip Girl and Horse Sense. I do have it above You Lucky Dog, though, as far as dog movies go. Here's my top 10. Only one change, and we'll get to it in a moment.
Brink finally moving down. Thank God we did it.
No. Quince, 10. Phantom, 9. Halloween Town,
I know what
8.
it's going to be. Luckily, Irish is going to move up. Go ahead.
No. Miracle at Lane 2, 7. You guys get it. It's not Miracle at Lane 2, 7. That's not the name of the movie. It's in 7th place. 6. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. 5. The Luck of the Irish. Here's the change. Motocross and Smart House have swapped. Smart House is 4, Motocross 3, Johnny Tsunami 2.
Good swap.
And
there.
1.
Good swap.
The greatest movie of our generation and any generation. The famous World Break.
The famous World Break. Yeah.
Dano?
I guess liked Hounded more than y'all because it is 19 on my list.
Ooh.
Did crack the top 20. It's just ahead of Ready to Run and just behind The Color of Friendship. 2 movies that I would be fine just sinking out at sea somewhere. My top 10 has not changed, but for the record, number 10, The Other Me. Number 9, Smart House. Number 8, Quince. Number 7, Phantom of the Megaplex. Number 6, Brink. Number 5, Miracle in Lane 2. Number 4, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. Number 3, Halloween Town. Number 2, Johnny Tsunami. And number 1, easily the best DCOM, Motocross.
Wow. We did it, everybody. Congratulations. Not only under an hour, it's under 45 minutes. We're at 40 minutes. So,
man, it was like a half an app.
Yes.
I
So we
wish
have
this-
20
I wish this
minutes to
movie had
talk
been 45
more
minutes.
about
Segway School.
It was an amazing time, and
was.
I had a great time learning all about the different ways that you can segue into different things, such as talking about next week's movie. Next week's movie is the famous Jet Jackson movie, a movie that is not streaming anywhere, and we're going to have to figure that out.
Why? I'm just had to be some
Canada.
rights thing.
Canada thing.
Canada again.
Canada thing. But very excited to talk about that movie and so much more next week on the next episode of DCOM Descendants.
DCOM Descendants is a Bramble Jam podcast. It's produced by Brandon Gray. For more information on DCOM Descendants, you can go to the web at dcompodcast.com or the socials at DCOM Descendants. To watch us watch these movies live, you can go to bramblejamplus.com.